Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers. I thank everybody that's involved with this process because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers.
Experience is not about the publisher, it is about us, the authors.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers this afternoon. My name is Carol Ann Langford. I'm delighted to share that I am the author of a book entitled The Speed of Passion: How Relationship-Based Leadership Drives Innovation. I'm very fortunate. I've been working in the corporate sector for a little over 20 years, and I've worked in the executive coaching, training, and facilitation space. I'm also a keynote speaker, but I've probably coached and taught in my life maybe as many as 20,000 people, and I currently work with mid to senior level executives in the largely big tech environment in corporations, corporate America. So delighted to share with you today a little bit about this book and any questions that anyone has. If anybody is watching today, if anyone has any interest in values-based leadership, relationship-based leadership, we are certainly open and welcome to use your question as a springboard for discussion. So please know that at any point in time, you are welcome to put your questions in the chat, and delighted to have a robust conversation about this. Now, some people may be wondering, what does values-based leadership mean? Well, what kind of values would we want to assign to someone who is a leader? So let me just ask you that question. When you consider the leaders that you know, the leaders that you're familiar with, the leaders that you work with, the leader that you are, what would you say are the elements of a really great leader? I'd really be curious to know, for those of you who are watching, what would be a few adjectives to describe the kind of leader that you like to work with, the kind of leader who inspires you, the kind of leader who elevates the relationship environment among the team and really serves to assist the whole team in accomplishing their goals, surpassing their goals, perhaps. So what kind of leaders do that? Anybody have any thoughts about that? The chat is open, and you are certainly welcome to include that. But I would say for this moment in time, this moment in history, I think we're learning a lot about how positive relationships can create a really positive environment for good working. When I say good working, I mean, work that produces outcomes, outcomes that the team is aspiring to, outcomes the team can be proud of, outcomes that serve the larger organization. So, very basically, I would say we want to create a level of trust. Would you agree with that? Being authentic. Thank you. Thank you, Jeffrey. Yes. Being authentic, real. Because what is it about an authentic person? And Jeffrey, we're so happy to invite you into a chat here. But what is it about that authenticity? I would say it enhances trust. If somebody's honest and real and we feel like they are who they are presenting themselves to be, that's who they really are, then we feel safe. We feel safer with someone like that. So authenticity, trustworthy. How about respectful? I think respectful is really, really useful. Betty Miller, thank you. Thank you for welcoming me to the Book of Storytellers. Thank you. I'm so happy to share my thoughts. But I think respect at this juncture is especially important. Respect. How about appreciation? Appreciation for workers. The book that I have written, The Speed of Passion, how relationship-based leadership drives innovation. And I'll show you what it looks like. Here it is. Can you see that? Oop. I'm not sure. Okay. Up. Now this background is making it a little interesting. Well, I don't know if you can see it very well. Anyway, I sort of yeah, we almost saw it. You can kind of see it there if it doesn't bleed into the background. I dedicated this book to my beloved brother. My beloved brother was a businessman. I'm gonna tell you a little story about my brother because he was an exceptional person. And yes, thank you, John Carl. Appreciation is so important. And this was something that my brother was really, really good at expressing to his associates. He was the president of his businesses. He was the owner, but he never referred to them as employees. He referred to them as associates, and he encouraged them, all of them, to bring ownership into their work. Now, he had two businesses, actually three. Number one, when he was a young man, he and I and a partner, we started a business in the retail automobile tire industry. My brother was a fanatic about cars from the time he was a baby. There's a picture of him at his 1-year birthday party, and he had little toy cars in both hands that he just wasn't going to, the cake was in front of him, and he wasn't even going to be interested in the cake because he wasn't going to let go of those cars. So cars were a passion for him. He even raced. He was a professional race car driver and raced in the 24-hour Grand Prix Le Mans in the year 2003 and 2004. And in 2004, the American team that he was on won their class in that race. Yep. So he was an exceptional person, a very, very high character. And he had a strong, we shared this value that our associates, the people who worked with us, we wanted to make sure that they always felt that they were appreciated. So we paid the highest wages in the industry. We made sure that we provided outstanding benefits for people. There was profit sharing available. And we insisted on creating conditions in the stores that were enjoyable to work in. One of the things that my brother would do in the retail automobile tire company, part of that service business is people come in, they buy new tires. So, you have to take the old tires off of the car and you have to put the new tires on. So what they started was this fun tradition of every couple of months they'd have a party and they would create some competition around it. And they would do these competitions to see who were the tire installation people who could remove a set of 4 tires, take new tires, balance them, put them on the car. Who could do that the fastest? And I'm trying to remember what the fastest amount of time was. It was an extraordinarily fast time. It might have been as quickly as 3 minutes. Yeah, 3 minutes to take 4 tires off the car, put new ones on, balance them, and get them back on there. So, the shops ran like these race car shops. They were always beautifully painted. There was beautiful decor. He had a really wonderful sense of aesthetics. And that was something that I think his people appreciated because it was an enjoyable environment. It wasn't a grubby, dirty environment like so many tire shops are. I love this. Thank you, JP Abasilla. You love the idea of recognizing the efforts and achievements of the staff. It's one of the things that you also value a lot as an employee. Agreed. And this is what we would do. People really felt appreciated. And they were felt appreciated because of the benefits that they received and the wages that surpassed every other company in that industry. I'll add that every year in January, and you're welcome, Sarah Lynch, delighted to be with you today. But yes, every year there was a grand party for all of the employees in January. And, we had this strong sense that we wanted to make everybody feel celebrated, that they deserved to be celebrated. So we always chose a beautiful place and we invited them. It was a beautiful place. It was a full dinner. There was a great band, and we would give out awards. And there were so many awards that were given out. Awards for fastest tire installation person, or best customer service, or most heroic customer service. The values that we had around customer service were this. We would share it with our associates. We'd say, listen, the way that we can build a great business is to make sure that everybody who walks in the front door of our establishment, that we treat them like a member of our family whom we love. Treat them like somebody that you really care about. So in the tire business, you have to make sure that you get the right kind of tires for that person. So it was important that if someone came in, let's say a woman who's 78 years old, she drives about 700 miles a year, just a mile and a half to the grocery store and back. Well, what she needs is a really solid tire, but she doesn't need the highest performing tire. So we would get her into something affordable that was safe, that would give her a good ride. But a different kind of experience would be with, let's say, a 28-year-old traveling salesman who's on the road. He's putting 50,000 miles on his car every year. That person, we would want to suggest that they work in a Michelin. We'd get them in a high-performing Michelin because they're going to get a better ride. It's going to be better for the car, and they last longer. So you see, we would customize those experiences. Now, I see someone's asking about travel around the world, and it's true. I have traveled to other places in the world. Yes, I've gone for my corporate work. I've been to China. I've been to, Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen. Shenzhen is one of the great manufacturing parts of China. And that was a fascinating experience, I must say. And I noticed there, of course, the Chinese have a very, very, very strong work ethic and a very strong ethic for respect and appreciation for each other. So yes, I worked in the supply chain manufacturing transformation arena when I was in Shenzhen. And I have to say, I'm so inspired by the brilliance of the technologists who are working in there. Now, Another aspect of my biography, which has not too much to do with corporate training, is the work I did in the nonprofit sector. My brother, he was very successful over the years, and he created a modest but effective family foundation. And he asked me to be the person who would decide what organizations would be funded. So we funded the organizations that included domestic vocations as well as international. So that work took me to Nicaragua. I've been to Sierra Leone, West Africa. I went with an organization that does conflict transformation. And I went there at a time when they were just overcoming their civil war. And I got to be with people who had been on opposite sides of the conflict. So that was quite remarkable. And yes, the name of the organization that I traveled with there was Search for Common Ground. They're an incredible NGO that specializes in transforming violent conflict. And here's their passion. It's build on our commonalities and let's tolerate our differences. Now, there was another great organization that does micro lending to small business owners. I went with them to Nicaragua. I went to Honduras with an organization that does community building. Those are just a few of the places that I've been internationally. But if you have any other questions, I'm happy to talk about that. But if we go back to the values-based leadership, yes, the speed of passion, it is an evocative title. Why did I name it that? Well, what do you think? When you're passionate about something, what happens to you as a worker? When you're really passionate about it, think about it. Don't we work more efficiently when we're passionate? Isn't that when we lose track of time? It certainly is when we can be more productive because we're inspired by something inside of us, yes? So that's one of the reasons why I named it the speed of passion. And I also think that passion is a lot of what drives innovation these days. And my goodness, we certainly live in a time where innovation is driving business all over the world. So back to the values. Now here's where I want to mention the neuroscience piece. The neuroscience piece. Yep, folks, the prefrontal cortex, in case you haven't studied much neuroscience, the prefrontal cortex, the frontal lobe here, this is where our creativity occurs. So in the brain, if that's where the creativity occurs, what do you think, what kind of hormones do you think we would want to create so that the prefrontal cortex, the frontal lobe, works in its optimum ability? Yes, we would want to have the happier hormones, oxytocin, serotonin. Now, when do you think we experience those kinds of hormones? What kinds of relational environments do we feel more oxytocin and serotonin running through our bodies? Anybody want to venture a guess? And yes, Jennifer, agreed. We must always remember that we're part of a group. We're not in isolation. No. And as part of a group, having good relationships with each other can create more of that serotonin, more of that oxytocin that's flooding into the brain. And when those positive hormones are moving, that's when the frontal lobe works better. That's when it works best. Now, what do you think happens if we're feeling intimidated or we're not safe or we're upset because we may feel as though we're not appreciated or someone has been unkind to us? What hormones do you think are released then? Stress, right? Stress. So you can go, in your Google, you can Google or go to YouTube and search impact of stress on human creativity. And I guarantee you'll come up with all kinds of fantastic teachers. Dr. Joe Dispenza is someone I have studied with. He's a master at this material. Dr. Bruce Lipton is another master of this material. So sometimes when we're working on values-based leadership, sometimes I get a little pushback from executives because sometimes the values-based leadership can be associated with sentimentality. And I want to just reassure you that it has nothing to do with phony sentimentality or obligatory niceness. No, we want to be kind to people. We want to be respectful, appreciative, honoring, supportive. We want to develop people. And by the way, developing people includes acknowledging when mistakes have been made, acknowledging when performance can be better. But that can be communicated in a respectful way. And when it is communicated respectfully, then that gives the opportunity for the person to improve, to grow. So don't think we're just saying you've just got to be nice all the time and just keep smiling and saying yes. No, our conversations need to be rigorous, and we need to go deep. We need to delve deep into the requirements of the projects we're working on, to be very serious about that, to respect the material that we're working on, to respect the project that we're working on. And we need to bring our highest integrity, our best ability to creating the best outcomes on these projects. So in terms of the creativity, that what we're learning about the brain is the exception to what I'm teaching you today is if you are called to be a Navy SEAL or in the Marine Corps and you are choosing to take on the stress of the world, that is a calling. That is a calling. In that case, we would honor that person. But in that case, we're training the brain to operate at its optimum abilities. So except for those events, most of the rest of us, our brains, our prefrontal cortex, frontal lobe is going to do better if we're experiencing more appreciation and respect. So I hope that means something. Well, who is this? Chloe, the best enterprise is when everyone in it feels like they're contributing something. Yes. So I can go back to that story about my brother and the annual party that was given for the associates. So many people received awards and acknowledgments. People received bonuses. You know what my brother Rick did every year during the holidays? And at his business, when it was at its zenith, I think he had about 300 associates there. He wrote handwritten Christmas cards to every single one of them. There were 23 locations in the San Francisco, San Jose Bay Area. And by golly, he hand delivered all of those holiday cards to all of the people, all of the individuals. He shook their hand, looked them in the eye, expressed to them how much he appreciated them. So yes, thank you, Betty. Love my passion. You can tell this means a lot to me. And thank you for the admiration of my ability to break down the intricate concepts. It's my delight to do that. And it's easy because I'm telling a story about my favorite business person in the whole world. And that was my brother, Rick. Now I have to tell you, there were times when his associates would say, oh, we should try to get acquired. Our business should try to get acquired. And Rick would say, we can take our time on that. We don't have to be in a hurry about that. Enjoy this time right now, because when we're privately owned, we can break some of the rules. And that's where my brother's, his formula included very, very generous bonuses. As I said, the best wages in the industry, best benefits. And you know what happens? Guess what kind of loyalty occurred with people with that kind of working environment? Exactly. People stick around. We had people working over 20 years. So my encouragement to everyone, right? Here's what I want to say is if we embrace the idea that respect, appreciation, good training, getting people supported and ready to do the jobs that they need to do, really equipping them with the skills they need to do the job well. And then offering that guidance, offering the crucial conversations when improvements need to happen, offering the celebration when people excel, getting to know people personally in a caring way. all of that's going to support, it's going to contribute to a better work environment with greater trust, greater interest. We have, and I would say loyalty. I had my brother, I'll say tragically, he passed away suddenly of a heart attack. He passed away of a heart attack in his sleep just not quite 2 years ago. And, at his memorial service, and this was during COVID. His memorial service took place in the middle of the week during COVID. And do you know that there were upwards toward 400 people who came to acknowledge him? And all of them acknowledged how much they admired him, how much they loved him as a leader. Many of them said he was like a father figure to them. He was a mentor to them, but he gave them opportunities that they never would have had in any other place. So my question for each of you is, what kind of leader do you want to be? What do you want to be known for among your team, within the company that you work for? What are your standards? I see Franz Guy commented, respect, training, equipping people to do the job well, offering guidance, offering celebration, caring for people. They equate to loyalty. Thank you. We so appreciate the notes. You're a good note taker. That was almost verbatim what I suggested. So, but I think, again, The Speed of Passion. Yep, there's the book, The Speed of Passion. Here it is. It's available on Amazon, by the way. And you know what? The cool thing is, what you might like in this is it has a lot of stories. In chapter 2, I go into stories that include my brother, Rick. And then there's a whole bunch of other stories about the people that I've trained and the mechanisms that I've learned. It's fun. People have told me it's an easy read and it's a fun read. Timothy Moffat, thank you. You want to be someone people can talk to. Yes. Isn't that so true? You want to be trustworthy and open. Yes, open-minded. Someone who doesn't leap to judgment. Someone who's safe to talk to. I agree. That's a really wonderful quality to have. And I think the more that we bring those values, the more success that we'll have. And what else? What else could happen besides greater success? How about more fun? Isn't it more fun when we're enjoying the people that we work with? Now, that's not to say that it's always going to be easy. Conflict comes up. This is what I learned from the Conflict Transformation Organization. Conflict is neither good nor bad. It just exists. It's a fact of life. But you know what? We can choose. We can choose how we navigate conflict, and we can do it with respect and appreciation. And when we come into conflict, we can say, let's look at what we have in common. Let's start there. And let's choose. Let's be willing with our will to tolerate our differences. And out of principle, out of elevated principle for the human condition, let's bring respect, categorical respect for everyone. What would the world be like if everyone agreed to do that? And believe me, I have worked with people who facilitate this approach to conflict and management. And I'm telling you, the culture of my brothers and our business, it was a beautiful one. People loved coming to work. They felt it was their family. Their work was where their work family existed, and they loved that. So what if we did this? What if everybody did this? Mightn't it elevate the relational environment in the world? Mightn't it make things more enjoyable? That's what I'd like to invite us to make a more beautiful world. Enjoy each other's company, bring passion and purpose to the work that we do, and do it with values-based leadership. The Speed of Passion by Carol Ann Langford, How Relationship-Based Leadership Drives Innovation. Go to Amazon, you can find it there, and you can go to my website, langfordleadership.com. That's also available to you. Such a joy to be with everyone today. I wish you all so much good fortune and so much happiness. I wish you happiness, purpose, fulfillment, And I'm so hopeful that each of you can, if you find my book and you want to get it, I so hope that it serves you and inspires you. And you know where to find me, langfordleadership.com, or my book on Amazon. You can find me in those places, and I'm always open to hearing from people. Would be glad to have an exchange with you. All right. I think our time is up, but thank you everyone for tuning in today. It was my honor to be with you, and we'll hope to see you in other wonderful virtual meeting rooms where we can talk more about the great books that so many authors with Reader's Magnet have written. Thank you. Take good care, everyone. Bye-bye now.